What's good, YouTube? So welcome back to another video. Now in this one I want to talk to you guys about two stocks that could be making a move to the upside next week in the market, so I want to drop them on your radar. But before I do, guys, we're about to kick off a brand new week in these markets, and those over at the Discord with me know that on a weekly basis, all right, we do very well with the option plays that we enter. This week just gone, the guys made a lot of money on Nvidia, the options there. Guys made a lot of money on Wells Fargo, the options there. And I don't like to flex too hard for you guys, but since we have started this year, my option account is up a great deal, right? So I want you guys to be successful in the markets, to make money in the markets. We're about to kick off a brand new week. If you want to join us on all of that, get in on the action, start making money in these markets on a consistent basis. Link is in the description below for you guys to go ahead and do so, because I'm about to fire out some plays for the guys. So for you to get in on that, link is in the description below. Now, it's another heavy week of earnings. And last week I was telling you guys about a couple of plays. I told you about On Semiconductor, they did well. Enphase, they did very well. I told you about SPG as well. They kind of didn't do so well. But we're going to another heavy week of earnings, and I want to bring two particular stocks to your attention that could deliver an upside surprise and could be making a move up. Now, when it comes to earnings, guys, I always say the earnings, you want to be mindful with your position size if you're going in. Just be mindful that there is a degree of randomness when it relates to how a company is going to perform, and a lot of uncertainties as well, right? Because we don't have the full information. We have asymmetric information on these companies, on these stocks as we go into earnings. But if you are able to do some due diligence and get into some quality names pre-earnings, there is a potential for, an upside surprise in the markets. And you guys like it when I give you my take and my prediction on where certain earning stocks are going. Right? I know a ton of you guys were loving that Enphase move. You made a lot of money on that move. But next week in the markets, you got companies like Roblox, you got companies like Shopify, you've got Palantir, Roku, all delivering their earnings. But these are types of names that are of high interest to, yes, retail investors. But the thing about these types of names, guys, going into earnings, there's a ton of uncertainty of how they are going to perform, right? A high degree of uncertainty. Take a Roblox, we know it's all about the community. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the growth. We don't know exactly how well they've been doing over the last couple of months. This is the type of stock I do expect to make a big move, either up or down, depending on what they go ahead and release. And we just don't know exactly what their growth in numbers have been over the last 3 months. Take a Shopify, for example. We know e-commerce sales are slowing down. Look at Amazon's results. You can see the e-commerce part of the business isn't doing so great. Amazon was saved big time by their cloud business. Okay, that saved them. Cloud and advertising. That is what saved them in the last quarter. It wasn't their e-commerce business. So Shopify, again, could disappoint because we know e-commerce sales aren't doing so great comparatively to 2020 and 2021. Palantir, for example, again, good numbers okay numbers last time round. Guidance, not so great. Same story of Roku, guidance, not so great. So a high degree of uncertainty with those types of names, even though they're popular names going into next week in the markets, we just don't know. However, there are two stocks that have the potential, I believe, to deliver an upside surprise. One is Crocs, guys, okay? Retail stock. Now, in their last quarter, they delivered good results and they delivered some great guidance as well. Now, this is the type of stock where we know a lot of retail is struggling with supply chain issues, but management have been confident and said, look, because our products only come in like 3 parts, the supply chain issues that are affecting other retailers out there in the market isn't so much of a concern for us. So they might be able to consistently navigate these supply chain issues going into this quarter, delivering their results. And we know going into these results, as I said, they've got some good guidance from last time round. So management seem to be doing well, their numbers seem to be ticking up and making those sales, right? So, and most importantly, guys, this stock has been nosediving into earnings. So what's happening is the stock's been sliding down into earnings. Going into earnings, that means the market has very low expectations of the stock. So if they're able to deliver good earnings on the day, and most importantly, deliver good guidance for the next 3 months, then the market could change sentiment around and you could see a shift upwards. Now, my prediction is we actually see Crocs move up 10% on earnings, given how much selling pressure we've seen and the fact that, as far as we know, the business is still pumping and still doing well. I think we could see a 10% uplift next week in the markets on Crocs. That's my expectation. Now with Nvidia, that's the next one, guys. This is one again that started to sell off into earnings. And if we look at the other semiconductor stocks, look at a TSM, look at a Qualcomm, look at an AMD, look at how they have performed in their earnings, smashing results, right? All round good guidance as well. So we know the semiconductor space is doing well. It's excelling at the moment, and we know Nvidia is just a creme de la creme as it relates to semiconductor stocks. They've got the largest market share. They've got the biggest customer base. They're the biggest in the space. They've got the best products. They've got the best technology. So going into this earnings, it would be a massive surprise if they were able to, if they underperform the market. I'm expecting them to perform in line with the markets, again delivering that upside surprise. AMD, we saw them move up like 10% in the market off the back of their earnings. They were selling off into earnings heavy, and they put that floor in. You saw that reversal to the upside. Now my expectation is Nvidia moves up probably about 5% on earnings, as long as they continue to sell off into earnings. If Nvidia was to then jump into earnings, because these two stocks are delivering on Wednesday, so it really depends on how they move Monday and Tuesday. If you see a movement to the upside, then I think you're probably going to see maybe some selling pressure like we saw with Qualcomm. Qualcomm was running in hot into earnings, delivered their numbers, then you saw a sell-off, which didn't really make sense, but it makes sense because the market had priced in a lot of the good news that was to come. Now we've seen heavy selling pressure in Nvidia going into earnings. If you see a red day Monday and Tuesday, that's the best sell for an upside surprise. Now, I rarely play earnings moves. I don't really see the need to do so on my behalf. I can make money through options in the markets where there's more certainty, and I'm looking at chart structures and things that play out based on the technicals, and there's less randomness like there is with earnings. But going into earnings, if you guys are to go into earnings, I know some of you guys love to do it, just be mindful of your position sizing. Be mindful, it can go either way. So just be prepared for those outcomes. And also, it's always a good move to take early profits. Take an Enphase, for example, from last week. We saw good numbers. You saw that stock price move up like 20+% on open, immediately started selling off, okay? And then it actually landed very close, or if not at or below the price it was when they initially delivered those numbers the day before. So that's the thing with earnings, guys. Whenever you see a stock run up into earnings, there's no real need to go ahead and buy it there, because often what happens is some point later in the year, or soon, like we've seen soon after, you're going to get that profit taking, that selling pressure, and you're going to see the stock come right back down. Like a Google, for example, that stock is back to where they were when before they announced their earnings. Okay, so all that price action, the upwards price action that the market was gifting the stock, they've taken it right back away. So it's all about being tactical, strategic in the markets. But anyway, those are the two stocks that I expect to make an upside surprise: Crocs and Nvidia, under the condition that they continue to show weakness into earnings. So Monday, Tuesday, they either stay at the same type of levels or they drop down slightly. That'd be the best scenario. That would be the best situation. So that's what I've got for you guys in this one. Make sure you check out the link in the description below to get in on the action over at the Discord. Start making money with the team. All right, we have a lot of fun over there. It'd be good to see you guys down there. Catch you on the next one.